Right now at 5, a man arrested in connection with a Jasper County murder faces charges in the Kansas City area.
And we've got dense fog advisories because, well, we've got dense fog out there this morning. We'll take a look at that and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
News.
Plus, Native American organizations come together in Oklahoma to help ensure their voices are heard on Election Day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday, September the 24th, and we got a lot of fog out there. But before I tell you about the fog, I have to share something that I read this morning that for those of you at home who know me, you know this is going to have a significant impact on my day. But an article from WHAS in Louisville, the last full-size Kmart store is closing.
This and I thought of you.
I'm a little upset. The only one left now will be one in Miami, Florida, and it's about the size of a Dollar General.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad by this. You in Joplin, you remember we had a Kmart, and when they first filed for bankruptcy in the early 2000s, they did close ours, but boy, talk about an end of an era. Thousands of stores to one that's about the size of our station here.
You doing okay?
I'll make it some way, somehow. I'll make it through the morning, but we're going to make it together through the fog. And that's the thing. You want to slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams. You know the drill on this, but it's pretty dense. Let's start with a look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. And in downtown Pittsburgh, regrettably, no Kmart stores, but that's all right. But you can see the fog not overly dense within Pittsburgh, but you can kind of see that haze, especially in the city streetlights out there. We head to our camera at 7th and Rangeline. We've been kind of watching the fog roll into Joplin. It's a little denser now than it was earlier this morning when I first got here. MoDOT cameras around the city. Again, you can see it off in the distance. It's not overly dense in the city yet, but that could very likely change. And here's why. Take a look at this. Good portion of southeast Kansas, significantly reduced visibility, stretching down into northeastern Oklahoma. Iola is at 0. Independence, Chanute, very low, as well as Fredonia, Fort Scott. So if you're traveling this morning, just about anywhere along and say west of the I-49 corridor at this point, you need to slow down, use your low beams, not your high beams, and make sure you're giving yourself time to get where you're going. It is better to be a little late than not get there at all, because we're talking some extraordinarily dense fog. As such, we have dense fog advisories. In Oklahoma, they run through 9. For everybody else, they'll run through 10 o'clock this morning. Then we have an opportunity for some scattered showers and storms this afternoon, still showing up on the future track. So after about noon, we'll have a boundary pass through, and that could bring a few isolated to widely scattered showers and storms as we head through the evening, and possibly a late evening second round coming in from around the Kansas City area. 62 Joplin, 57 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures this morning, they are cool out there, very fall-like. Mid-upper 50s and low to mid-60s across the region as we get this day underway. Kids getting on the bus, of course, some fog to contend with, otherwise mostly cloudy, upper 50s with a calm breeze out there. By this afternoon, a few isolated scattered storms, low to mid-70s and a west wind around 5 to 10. Again, for some of us, some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Highs today just a wee bit warmer, going about the mid-70s out there. We do have additional rain chances this week. We'll talk about that and how long this nice fall weather lasts in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, time might be running out for a Missouri death row inmate whose case has sparked some second thoughts. Now, yesterday, the Missouri Supreme Court refused to stop the execution of Marcellus Williams. In 2001, he was convicted of the 1998 stabbing death of former newspaper reporter Felicia Gale. Williams has always maintained his innocence, and prosecutors may be reconsidering his case. In a rare move, St. Louis's top prosecutor filed a motion to vacate the conviction in January. Currently, the only person who can stop the execution is Missouri Governor Parson. Now, he issued a statement yesterday saying he does not plan to do so, citing 15 hearings that allowed Williams' conviction to stand. Williams is scheduled to die by lethal injection tonight at 6 p.m. One of 2 brothers connected to the murder of a man in Jasper County, Missouri, is now formally charged with violent crimes in the Kansas City area. Authorities say the suspect are two illegal immigrants from Honduras, Jose Quintero Benitez and Aiden Amon Quintero Benitez. Now, investigators believe they were headed to Oklahoma to buy meth, but got stranded in Joplin and were out of money. Authorities believe they then fatally shot 63-year-old Oklahoma resident Jesse Gilmore at the Road Ranger gas station on Joplin South Prigmore Avenue and stole his car. Investigators believe they disposed of the body in a ditch alongside Interstate 44. The two brothers were later arrested for separate crimes not related to the Jasper County murder in Kansas City and Independence, Missouri. Jose Benitez yesterday made his first court appearance in Jackson County, Missouri for a shooting and attempted carjacking there. Now, the charges include first-degree assault, vehicle hijacking, and armed criminal action. At last report, the victim in that case, a woman, was in critical condition. In a separate case, he's also accused of pistol whipping a woman in Kansas City, Missouri. The Jasper County Prosecutor's Office has already filed charges against Aiden Benitez, including first-degree murder, robbery, and abandonment of a corpse. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office expects additional charges against Jose Benitez as well. The investigation continues following a late Sunday afternoon SUV crash on Gum Road in Joplin. Now, troopers say a pickup left the roadway, taking out fence posts, then ramped a driveway where it overturned. People who came upon the crash say they could not find a driver, and troopers are investigating to who was driving the SUV. Well, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, northeastern Oklahoma Native American organizations are collaborating to host Native voter registration events. They plan to go to other locations, including healthcare facilities and festivals, to help people get signed up. Yesterday, they were outside of the Intertribal Council in Miami helping people register. They want to make it easier for people to check their voter registration status, especially because thousands of Oklahoma voters were recently purged from voter roll and may not be aware that they need to re-register. The organizations want to make it easier for Native Americans to use their voice and be represented.
We want to vote for people who help us, and so and have an interest in what the tribes and nations in this area need. So yeah, we want our members to be knowledgeable of those things.
Now, their goal is to increase voter turnout, especially because Oklahoma has one of the lowest rates of voter turnout in the United States. One big issue this election season is immigration and border security. We talked with the Republican and Democratic candidates for U.S. Congressional District 2 of Kansas to get their thoughts.
My own view is that American immigration policy ought to favor the interests of the United States, the interests of Americans. That ought to be the dominant factor as we figure out who comes, goes, and how many. And so I think we have to look at those places in our economy where there are needs that immigrants can fill today. That may be some low-skilled jobs or agricultural jobs. It may be some very high-skilled jobs with particular skills. But that's a discussion I don't think we should try to get to until we secure the border.
Immigration is a very difficult issue, but I believe that the way that I speak about it is one that says of course we want to welcome the stranger. Old Testament. It said we want to welcome the stranger 52 times in the Old Testament, but we need borders. We have to have some rule of law. So I have been right there trying to speak to both sides and begging them, stop using this as a political football. It's hurting our country.
Now, we talked with the candidates on a wide range of issues, and you can see those complete unedited interviews on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Nevada faces Webb City in a big non-conference softball matchup. We'll have those details. Plus, Pope Francis cancels visitors at the Vatican due to a slight flu-like state. And we have a foggy and cool start to the day. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
It's football season here at Prairie Moon Casino. Come join our winning team for your chance to win cash and prizes.
When you say let's go to breakfast, you mean let's go to McDonald's. Obviously.
Get hype. It's McDonald's 2 for $5 deal. Mix and match your breakfast faves. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
August and September is the time for celebration at your local Derailed Commodity Flooring and Furniture store. This year marks our 57th year in business, and to celebrate, we're offering specials and discounts store-wide. All types of in-stock flooring, including carpet, luxury vinyl tile, hardwoods, and traditional tile, it's on sale. Couches, love seats, recliners, and tables, all on sale. Need an area rug or remnant for a room? On sale too. With discounts store-wide, you won't want to miss the savings at your local Derailed Commodity Flooring and Furniture.
Discover a place where you truly belong. Carl Junction Residential Care. As a family-owned and operated facility, we offer compassionate, patient-centered care that feels like home. Stay active with our engaging wellness activities. Enjoy pampering sessions at our on-site beauty salon and savor fresh, nutritious meals at our fully stocked salad bar. Join in on fun group casino trips, and for a limited time, get half off your first month's rent from September through November. At Carl Junction Residential Care, where family, care, and fun come together. Your new home awaits.
There are many layers to what's happening on the road. It may be true that cars are safer, but people aren't. On the road with you are distracted drivers, drunk drivers, people who are speeding or running through red lights and stop signs. And when the crash is over, the scary part is probably just beginning. Worst of all, though no fault of your own, your family's future may be at risk. If you've been hurt, call Aaron Sachs and Associates. It won't cost you anything to see if we can help.
We're about halfway through the high school softball season in Missouri. The Webb City Cardinals have one of the best records in the COC, and last night they faced Nevada, who's undefeated in the Big 8 Conference. This game was originally scheduled to be in Nevada, but due to the rain, we're moving it to the turf field in Webb City. First inning of the game, and this ball is about to be popped straight up. Lily Hall comes in from second base and makes a diving catch. Great play to start this game. In the circle for the Cardinals is sophomore Olivia Nyberg. She pitched a clean 4 innings of scoreless softball, including a big strikeout here with the bases loaded. Meanwhile, Nevada had their ace going. Peyton Eaton was dominating this game from start to finish. She also held this game scoreless through 4 innings of work. So we go to the top of the 6th. Game is tied 1-1, and Kaylee Holcomb is going to hit this off the defender's glove, and Cadence Warner scores the go-ahead run. Nevada takes the lead 2-1. Final inning, right here, trying a tying run at third base. Lily Hall hits it ground ball to second. The throw was initially dropped, but Hallie Richmond picked it up just in time. Umpires had a conversation, and they ruled that the play was indeed the final out of the ball game. And what a game this was. Nevada wins a thriller. Tigers beat the Cardinals 2-1. Indoors in the Cardinal Dome, Webb City Volleyball was home last night, taking on the Mount Vernon Mountaineers. Both teams on a 2-game win streak. Kicking off in the first set, it's not really close. Long rally, Mountaineers on offense, and they try to go for the kill, but Adeline Maxwell and Jaylee Rutledge form a strong wall and block it. Cardinals take the first set by double digits. Second set, Mountaineers overcome a big deficit. Rutledge tries to float it, but she can't get the ball past the net. Mountaineers take the lead in the set, but Webb City fights back. Later in the set, Rutledge overcomes her earlier mistake, and she slams it for the kill. Cardinals now lead 2-0. You may think it's over, but Mount Vernon stays in at third set here. Rutledge puts a little too much mustard on her kill, and it sails out of bounds. Mountaineers win the third set. Fourth set, kind of the same story as the last two. Neck and neck, Savannah Crane bumps to Kira Long, and she put the nail in the coffin. Cardinals take the fourth set, and they defeat Mount Vernon 3-1. The Missouri Southern football team is now 0-4 after being shut out last week against Northwest Missouri State. The Lions hit the road for a non-conference matchup facing Northeastern State. Here's what head coach Atiba Bradley had to say during the team's weekly press conference.
Yeah, guys, I'm frustrated. We're sitting at 0-4. I think at times we've played winning football, but we've also played some really good teams. And so, you know, when the results don't match the process, it's extremely frustrating. But make no mistake about it, we're down, but we're not out. The season isn't over. We're not just gonna, ship it in and just be done with the season and call it a wash. And so the message to the team has been that.
Well, we counted the votes after our press box show. This week, our performance of the week is Mount Vernon. The Mountaineers went on the road to beat an East Newton team who has had a big turnaround season thus far. Mount Vernon won that game 48-6. To vote on next week's performance of the week, just head over to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Well, still to come, we're going to see why some experts are calling for age restrictions on the sale of non-alcoholic drinks. Plus, a check of that 7-day forecast, and look at that fog building into Pittsburgh now. All that and more when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 518 on this foggy Tuesday morning. We're starting with a live look at MoDOT cameras around the metro area, and you can see within Joplin, it is foggy, but it's not overly dense just yet, but you don't have to go too far outside the city to find some dense fog. Now we're looking okay. You can still see it's a bit hazy here from the KDOT camera, 69 and Kansas Crossing, but as we saw before the break on our downtown Pittsburgh camera, the fog is getting a bit thicker out there. We also have an opportunity, and I apologize, I forgot to put the fog tracker into this part of the weather. Well, I'll tell you right now, most of southeast Kansas, so I've got it on this screen, just not back here. We've got dense fog stretching all the way through northeastern Oklahoma and through most of southeast Kansas. Iola is at 0 visibility. Fort Scott, Chanute, Fredonia, Independence, Miami, all dealing with, and Yates Center, all dealing with significantly reduced visibilities. And I apologize, I will get that back in here, that way we can see it and you don't have to try and imagine it with me. As we head into the afternoon though, we have a boundary approaching from the northwest that's going to bring us an opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head after 12 and into the evening hours. Now there may be a pause in activity, but we could see some additional redevelopment around the Kansas City and Topeka areas, and that might push into some of our eastern counties overnight, but in all honesty, I think the bulk of the rain is going to wrap up about midnight, maybe 1 a.m. at the latest. And as we head into our Wednesday, it's a pretty chilly start, but we're going to have a slightly warmer day out there than what we're going to see today. And that's simply because we're expecting a bit more sunshine. Because whether or not you see rain today, we are looking at mostly cloudy to cloudy skies today. As we head into our Thursday, things looking pretty good. Another cool start out there, and temperatures are going to be a wee bit cooler than we see tomorrow. And we have those clouds. So this is what we're watching as we head later into the week. We got a tropical system, a tropical cyclone right now down in the Gulf. There's already some tropical storm warnings out there. It's expected to intensify and ultimately become a hurricane. Now, once it makes landfall, it appears that this time, this is still very far out, but toward the end of the week, after it makes landfall, there will be some driving forces that will push it more northwesterly, and that could bring us some heavy rain later this week and even some potential for some flooding concerns. So it's something we want to keep a close eye on for sure. A quick look at current 62 in Joplin. You can see it is a bit foggy. Airport's reporting 4 miles of visibility, so it is reduced. Southwest breeze at 7. Around the region, it is a little cooler up to the northwest, a little warmer to the southeast, so we've got upper 50s and low to mid 60s as we get this day started for us on our Tuesday morning. And going through the morning, foggy conditions will continue through the mid-morning hours, and it'll start to burn off between 10 and 11. Mostly cloudy skies and the mid-60s by 11 o'clock this morning. As we head into the afternoon hours, we are looking at highs again about the mid-70s, and for some of us, some isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. No severe weather is expected, nothing like that, nothing to worry about there. We just really don't have the environment for that. And that's the other thing, thunderstorm activity itself will be relatively limited as well. So you could get some thunder. Most of this will just be some good rainfall out there, and we need the rain, so we're certainly not going to complain about that. Into the evening, again, isolated, widely scattered showers and storms. I think the last of these are done by midnight, 1 a.m. at the latest. And then we'll have gradually clearing skies as we head overnight, falling back once again into the mid-50s. Led down the road, upper 70s tomorrow and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is the window of that tropical system. That's what we've got to watch. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. Right now, here's where our chances stand. But again, if it's pushed just enough to the northwest, we'll see more rain out of this. And again, the potential for some flooding concerns. So a lot to watch as we head toward the end of this week. Also, cooler weather, low 70s, and we start to warm back up. Upper 60s next Tuesday, low to mid 80s next Thursday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. On Friday, the Federal Trade Commission took action against the 3 largest pharmacy benefit managers. The agency says the companies artificially inflated insulin list prices that resulted in patients paying more for the medications. The companies are CVS Healthcare's Mark RX, Cigna's Express Scripts, and United Health Group's Optum RX. Now, the FTC alleges the companies and their affiliated group purchasing organizations built a system that prioritizes high rebates from drug manufacturers. Now, they allegedly excluded available insulin products with lower prices in favor of higher priced insulins that provided higher rebates. Well, some experts say low alcohol and alcohol-free beers and mocktails shouldn't be sold to minors. And they're calling for laws that curb sales to kids and teens. Now, the market for non-alcoholic drinks has been growing as more people, particularly younger adults, look to cut their alcohol use. In order to be considered, non-alcoholic drinks have to contain less than 0.5% of alcohol by volume. The drinks are often packaged to look just like their boozy counterparts. But some experts worry these drinks could be a gateway to drinking, priming minors to switch to the real thing. There's a new weapon against the flu that's now approved by the FDA. The agency gave the green light to an at-home version of the flu vaccine. And while it won't be available to help with this respiratory virus season, some experts hope not having to get a shot at a doctor's office or pharmacy will encourage more people to get protected. Mandy Gaither has more on how this newly approved vaccine works.
It's a first in the fight against flu. On Friday, the FDA approved the first needle-free influenza vaccine that can be administered at home.
I think that's good news. I think the idea is to get people vaccinated and to get their immune system up.
Flu Mist is a nasal spray that's been used to protect against influenza in the U.S. since 2003. It's currently available with a prescription in pharmacies and other healthcare settings for people ages 2 to 49 who aren't pregnant. The manufacturer plans to make the vaccine available for self-administration through a third-party online pharmacy, which will prescribe and ship the vaccine after reviewing a screening and eligibility assessment. This option is expected to be available in time for the start of next year's respiratory virus season.
It's very simple. It's basically one spray each nostril to get the full dose for an adult.
Dr. Jesse Bracamonte with Cleveland Clinic says this approval will help make it more convenient to protect against flu, but he says the vaccine contains a live but weakened version of the virus, so it's not for everybody.
So there are certain conditions that are not able to take the flu mist, such as if you're on immune-related medications that suppress your immune system, you have HIV, and there's some particular immune-related issues that you'd have to talk to your physician or your clinician to make sure that that vaccine is right for you.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now, the CDC says getting vaccinated against the flu is the best way to prevent getting severely sick from the virus. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are watching dense fog rolling across the area. Take a look at this shot from downtown Pittsburgh. You need to slow down out there. I'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, OSHA announces it's re-evaluating safety regulations for some area fire departments.
We've got some dense fog to deal with this morning. Dense fog advisories across a good portion of the area as well. Look at that forecast. Get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, a familiar furry face visits some students at a Columbus, Kansas school for a howling good time.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, September the 24th. We are getting further into fall by a couple of days here.
You almost had your October spooky voice ready.
Well, you know, it's spooky looking outside.
It really is, isn't it?
You got to slow down out there now.
I know.
Oh boy, yeah. In all honesty, though, seriously. Low beams, not your high beams. It doesn't help you. It does not help the other drivers at all. If you got fog lights, that's what they're for. Don't use them in the middle of the night on a clear night. That drives me nuts. I see it all the time. People driving with their fog lights on.
Really?
It's clear as sky.
I've never
it's
noticed.
clear. Well, I've noticed it's kind of bright, but
well, now's the
it
time
is
to
foggy.
make him happy.
Now's the time you can use your fog lights. This is what they're for. And we're going to show you what this is by taking a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. That's what your fog lights are for, okay? That is dense fog. Now, here's the thing. The airport in Pittsburgh, this is where the observations come from, is reporting 4.1 miles of visibility right now. Obviously, that is not the case. You've got to slow down. Remember, it is better to be a few minutes late than not get where you're going at all because you decided that, the fog's not a big deal because you cannot see what's coming out there. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, still a bit foggy in Joplin. It hasn't really thickened up here yet. MoDOT cameras around the metro area, you can see that there is fog out there, but not quite as dense as what we're seeing in other parts of the area. And this is what we're seeing out there, really along and east of the I-49 corridor. We've got zero visibility Iola, practically zero Chanute and Independence, Parsons, Fredonia, Yates Center, Fort Scott, Miami, Veneta. I mean, any way you paint it, if you are in the western half of our area, you're dealing with dense fog, and this is impacting nearly every major roadway and highway in our area, especially, again, in the western half of it, the western 2/3 of it, honestly. So, again, slow down, watch out. You don't know what's ahead of you. Dense fog advisories in place. Oklahoma, they run through 9. Everybody else, they're through 10 o'clock this morning. Then we also have an opportunity with a boundary coming in for some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Now, honestly, most of this will just be shower activity, but some rumbles of thunder will be possible, and these will continue through the afternoon and into the evening, and maybe even a second round much later this evening out there. 62 in Joplin, 58 in Pittsburgh. And see what a difference just a few miles makes. This is the KDOT camera at 69 in Kansas Crossing. It looks a lot clearer than it is in the city of Pittsburgh. So these are rapidly changing visibility conditions as well. Temperatures this morning, upper 50s, low to mid 60s across the areas. We get our Tuesday underway. Kids getting on the bus, obviously some fog to contend with. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, upper 50s and a calm breeze. And that bus brings them back, maybe a few scattered storms, mid 70s and a west wind at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs today, a bit warmer, mid 70s out there. And again, a few scattered storms here and there. And those will start coming to an end later this evening. If you don't see any rain activity, we're just looking at mostly cloudy to straight up cloudy skies out there. We're going to clear out a bit for our Wednesday, warm up a little more, and then more rain chances are on the way. All of those details coming up in the full forecast in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, OSHA says they are reevaluating proposed regulations that would impact fire departments. Since the agency announced their proposal in February, the regulations have faced backlash from fire departments, the National Volunteer Fire Council, and even state representatives. Now, concerns surround the ability for volunteers and rural departments to comply with regulations. And many of those departments already struggle with funding.
I am speaking out against this because I want to make sure that we still have a future for the fire service in the 4 states, in rural America, because I really see this as a move to eliminate some of the rural departments out there.
In a statement, OSHA says it's considering excluding volunteer departments entirely. The agency is encouraging those impacted by the regulations to speak out at their public rulemaking hearing starting November 12th. Well, students at Central School in Columbus, Kansas had a howling good time when a well-known visitor dropped by yesterday. Kansas City Chiefs mascot Casey Wolf. Well, the familiar furry face stopped by the school to tell the kids what the life of a mascot is like and to encourage a love of reading. Staff and students showed the fan favorite a ton of excitement.
My favorite part of watching Casey Wolf today was seeing how excited the kids are, because the Chiefs are such a big part of so many families around here, and just so they can have joy and they'll remember this, and I hope that they'll remember that reading was a part of it, and that's something they'll always have.
Well, Casey Wolf has been the official Chiefs mascot since 1989. Well, it's the time of year that haunted house attractions are hiring in preparation for spooky season. KOAM's Lonnie Walton visited one in Webb City and learned they're about more than just the screams.
We have people that get scared in the first room and they chicken out, so we have a lot of chicken exits. We have
all different kinds of mazes with different characters. So anywhere you go, you never know where a character's lurking. So they're screaming all the way through till the very end.
Maddie Idris is the owner of Unleashed Hunt. However, it's not your typical haunted house. While the screams are plenty, so is the give back to the community.
We donate to various different organizations. The Humane Society is one we always give, we try to give a donation to. I'm actually partnering with the Webb City Theater Department. They're coming out and acting, and in return I'm going to give them a donation to their school program. And then various cancer organizations, Special Olympics, we're actually doing the polar plunge.
Idris and the haunted house actors make sure fun is endured by all.
Kids or someone who's scared, if they want to go through and see everything, we give them a neon light and we take them through with a flashlight, and none of my actors will scare them.
If you really want to get spooked, watch out.
We have an experience for everybody, but we also are really scary and will make people pee their pants or pass out. So yeah.
Reporting in Webb City, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, Unleashed Haunt opens this weekend for anyone ready to get in the spooky season spirit. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Israel's Iron Dome lit up the skies as it intercepts multiple missiles fired from Lebanon. Plus, President Biden prepares for his last major address before the United Nations General Assembly. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Pope Francis cancels with some visitors at the Vatican yesterday because of some health concerns. Now, the Pontiff's press office says Francis had a, quote, slight flu-like state and out of precaution decided to cancel with audiences. Now, the health issue comes just days before the Pope was scheduled to embark on a trip to Belgium and Luxembourg to visit Catholic universities and minister to victims of clergy sexual abuse. Now, the Pope battled acute bronchitis and reoccurring flu last winter. Pope Francis also had a crowded schedule since returning September 13th from a 4-nation, 11-day trip through Asia. Israel's Iron Dome intercepts multiple rockets from Lebanon yesterday. Hezbollah says it fired dozens of rockets towards Israel, including a military base. At military bases, rather. Now, the fighting lighting up the skies over Israel's northern city of Haifa. Now, the strikes killing more than 350 Lebanese, including 60 women and children. Israel has vowed to push Hezbollah back from the border in order for its citizens to return home. Now, the barrage is said to be the deadliest since the Israel-Hezbollah war in 2006. President Joe Biden may no longer be running for re-election, but the leader of the free world is getting ready to make the case for his administration's national and foreign accomplishments in front of the United Nations General Assembly today. But Biden's words on the world stage come as intense conflicts rage on. Sean Langell takes a closer look at what you can expect to hear as security measures get ramped up. All right, we apologize for that technical difficulty. That was a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:45 on this very foggy Tuesday morning. This is a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, and you can see visibilities are significantly reduced out there, and we've been harping on it, but you've got to take it seriously. Low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and slow down, give plenty of distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you. Now, when you're in the city, you got some street lights, that's helpful, but if you're traveling on some of the rural roads, it's going to be even harder to see what's ahead of you, so you have to slow down. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, again, some light fog within the city of Joplin, and we can also see from the MoDOT cameras around the metro area, it's not overly dense within the city of Joplin yet. It's some light fog out there, but that could change at any time, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the KDOT camera 69 in Kansas Crossing. Now, you can see it's definitely foggy, but you can also see it's not nearly as dense as it is just a few miles up the road in Pittsburgh. So we're talking about the possibility of rapidly changing visibilities out there all along the same route. So that's why you've really got to slow down and just be very aware of what you've got going on. Most of southeast Kansas and in northeast Oklahoma is where the densest fog is. A lot of it, the densest fog across the entire region is from I-49 and points west, so the western 2/3 of our area. Iola is still reporting zero visibility, near zero in Chanute, Independence, and Parsons, as well as Yates Center. So very significantly reduced visibilities on a number of major roadways and highways around the area as well. So this is going to impact a large number of folks' morning commute. You got to slow down. Be safe, take it easy out there. Now, of course, accordingly, there are dense fog advisories across the region as well. Now, in Oklahoma, these will run through 9 o'clock this morning. Everybody else, they run through 10 o'clock this morning. We're expecting this fog to start burning off between 10 and 11 this morning. But between now and then, you've got to be cautious. You've got to be careful. You got to go slow. We can't emphasize this enough. It's one of those things, just like in winter weather, you need to treat this as if it was a severe weather situation. You've got to slow down. You've got to take precautions. You got to be careful. It's not worth getting there early because odds are if you go too fast under these conditions, you won't get there at all. That's not what we want to report on tomorrow morning. All right, today, by noon, we've got a boundary coming in that's going to bring us an opportunity for some scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms in there. These will continue to push through to the southeast as that boundary rolls on through, and the winds will shift behind that out of the north. And then we could see a second round of storms develop late this evening around the Kansas City and Topeka areas, and that will slide southeast, but should be in a decaying state by the time it gets here, which means the majority of any thunderstorm and shower activity should wrap up by midnight, 1 a.m. at the latest, and that'll leave us with gradually clearing skies overnight tonight. But otherwise today we are looking at mostly cloudy to just plain cloudy skies. Now, even though we'll have a northerly breeze tomorrow morning and into the afternoon, it will actually be a little warmer tomorrow because we're going to see a little more sunshine out there. Now, I want to skip into Tuesday, goodness gracious, I got fog brain this morning. Thursday, rather, if you take a look, see the clouds rotating off to the eastern part of our viewing area? That's what we're keeping an eye on. We have a tropical cyclone in the Gulf that is anticipated to become a hurricane before too much longer. There's already some tropical storm watches for the southwestern Florida. As it makes landfall, there's the chance that as we head toward the end of this week and into the weekend, it'll take a northwesterly turn. If that happens, we're going to get a fair amount of rain out of this system. The problem there is it's been fairly dry. And while we're getting rain today, and we got rain yesterday, and some of us got some over the weekend, it could lead to some flooding concerns. And so that's something we want to watch very closely as we head toward the end of this week, is exactly how close that system gets to us and what kind of rainfall chances we're looking at out there. So it's something to watch over the next few days. 62 in Joplin, cloudy skies, visibility is at 4 miles with a southwest breeze around 7. Across the area, temperatures very fall-like. We've got upper 50s and low to mid 60s out there. And as we get our morning underway, we are talking about the fog again through about 10 o'clock this morning. Mostly cloudy skies, mid 60s by 11. Highs today right around the mid 70s, and as we head into our Wednesday, we are looking at highs going into the upper 70s out there. This is, I've got to get new batteries, I guess. Upper 70s again Thursday, and we'll start watching for those rain chances as we head into the weekend. A little cooler Friday and Saturday, low 70s, a little cooler next Tuesday, upper 60s, a little warmer next Thursday, low to mid 80s. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, nothing stops true love. However, a massive traffic backup on the Massachusetts Turnpike caused it to be delayed for one couple. That's Thursday. Well, members of the groom's family and the best man were on their way to the wedding when they got caught up in the traffic for hours. Mary Saldana explains how everyone made the best of the situation.
There just was no quick fix. A truck rolled over in a construction zone on the Pike in Westboro, shutting down all lanes, trapping hundreds of motorists for nearly 2 hours. As reality set in, we saw truck drivers break out their lawn chairs to sit it out. Bored kids got busy with the chalk. But what really caught our eye from Sky 5 was a handful of people dressed to the nines. Turns out they were on their way to Chris and Emma Aguilar's wedding, the family of the groom.
My mom
and dad.
My mom, my dad, my grandmother, everyone, my aunts, everyone that came from my side of the family was stuck for 2 hours in traffic.
Stuck on 90 westbound, Chris's dad Jose and aunts Maggie and Elsa made the best of it, documenting the wedding day mishap for the family record. Back at the wedding venue,
we were panicking a little bit.
We were going plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, but we had great wedding coordinators that really helped us out and like really reorganized everything.
And in the end, the wedding was a little late, but worth waiting for, and definitely a story to laugh about on the honeymoon.
So we're going to Mexico tomorrow.
Okay, don't take the Mass Pike.
Thank you for the advice.
Well, as far as the accident that caused the traffic jam, authorities say the truck's driver fortunately sustained only minor injuries. Stick around, we'll be right back. Well, Doritos needs your help to create its next Super Bowl commercial. The chip company is bringing back its challenge for fans to top its previous commercial ideas. Now, the winner will see their ad during the Super Bowl and win $1 million. Doritos' Crash the Super Bowl campaign previously ran from 2006 to 2016, which even sparked careers in marketing for some winners. Submissions will be accepted until November 11th, and a panel of judges will review the top 25 submissions to select the final 3 for a fan vote. And a retail survey shows which Halloween costumes will be flying off the shelves this year. The National Retail Federation reports Spider-Man will once again be children's costume of choice this spooky season, as 2.6 million children are expected to dress up as the web-slinging superhero. Ghost, Witch, and a Princess will also be top picks for trick-or-treaters, which also ranks among the top outfits for adults this year, followed by Vampire, Cat, and Batman. Now, the survey also reports the most popular animal costumes include pumpkin, hot dog, and a bat.
Well, see, if my wife goes as a witch, I can go as a man-witch. You're welcome. All right. That's your thing for your Tuesday. And hopefully you at home are going, oh, come on, that was bad. Because it was. And that's what I do. But I also give you weather. Sometimes, though, the weather is bad and it's a bit foggy out there this morning. Got to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. Fog should burn off by about 10, 11 o'clock. Mostly cloudy skies, mid-60s by 11 a.m. Highs today, mid-70s. And then afternoon, we'll have an opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. No severe weather is expected, but those could continue into the late evening hours and be done by about midnight, 1 a.m., falling back into the mid-50s. Warming up tomorrow, a little more sunshine, upper 70s. Watching a tropical system heading into the end of the week could bring us some additional rounds of rain. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.